welcome back to the Cat Knit Podcast. My name is Grace, and today is Monday, September 3rd. I'm recording on a different day today because I have a special surprise that I'm going to include after this clip, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. After that, I'm going to go over some knitting and stuff that I want to share with you guys this week. So we're going to do all the normal stuff at the beginning. If you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, there's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram, so you can go and follow me over there. I have a special guest with me today, and I will include all of their information in the show notes as well. So if you would like to go and follow them on their social medias, you can do that as well. All the links to the things that I will be talking about at the end of this episode, all the knitting things, they will be linked as well. And yes, I think that is all that I normally say. So without further ado, here is my fun little surprise for you guys. Now you can start.
Okay. Hi, welcome back to the Cat Knit Podcast. I'm Sam, and it's Monday, September 3rd.
Good job. Today is a little bit different because I didn't open the podcast. That's different. So we're going to be doing the Fiber Friends tag today, which is I saw the Suburban Stitcher do it first, and I don't know if there's any others out there, but I am copying her. So I took most of the questions off of hers, and so I'll be asking you these questions.
Well, that's plagiarism.
Well, yes, but she also said that you could use them if you wanted to. There are other people that have copied her as well. So I have taken some of these questions. I've also come up with some of my own questions. I've reworded some of these questions so it fits your knitting knowledge a little bit better.
Limited.
Well, this is going to be a good test. But before we get started, do you want to introduce yourself? And
I already did that.
Well, who are you?
I'm your husband.
Yes, exactly. See, that's things that people need to know. Because I don't usually call you Sam on the podcast. I usually say my husband. Fun fact.
Well, that's me.
This is Sam. What do you do for a living in general? Because they were other husbands have been saying this, and I thought it would be interesting.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm in sales. I'm in industrial sales for an equipment monitoring company.
Yeah. So that's super cool. I don't understand any of it, but that's okay. Anyway, okay, so we're going to get started. There are a lot of questions, and we'll go through it. And
okay.
There's also terms.
Ooh, I know about 4 terms, so this should be educational.
I think you know some of them. Do you want to do the terms first, or do you want to do the questions first?
I don't know. It's up to you.
We can mix them in.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is, how long have I been knitting?
You?
Yes.
Hold on. I'm gonna say 12 to 13 years.
Very close.
14.
Less.
11.
Yeah, 10 or 11 years. Because it was when we moved to Houston.
Right.
So you can just use that.
Yeah, I overestimated.
That's okay. Yes. Do you remember the story of like how I learned to knit?
I know that you and your mom wanted to find something to do together once you had moved to Houston. Mm-hmm. I don't remember how it was decided that would be knitting though.
I think my mom just decided that she wanted to find a yarn store. There probably more that I don't remember, but
right. Was Yarntopia where you learned to knit?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yep. Where we learned to knit. I don't remember who exactly taught us, but it might have been Cheryl. I don't remember. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so the next question. Good job. That was good. Good job. Next question. What is my favorite thing or things to knit? Would you like a list or options?
Well, I mean, I know what you knit the most, although lately I feel like you've been knitting a lot of sweaters, but that's also because you've had a lot of sweater knitting assignments.
Yes, test fits.
But I don't know if you like that more. I feel like you like knitting shawls more. Mm-hmm. Is a shawl your favorite thing to knit?
I would say sweaters and shawls are the top two. So you get that answer correctly.
So you didn't even have a true answer.
I said things / things.
That was a trick question.
Things as in plural.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't matter.
Cactuses.
Either way, you're the answer right.
I just want to make sure I get maximum points.
Do you want me to mark on which ones you got right?
No, that's okay. Not unless there's a prize.
No.
Oh. What am I? Alright, bye.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
You're silly. Okay, so the next question you kind of already answered, what is the thing that I'd mean the most of?
Probably shawls.
Good question. I mean, good question. Good answer.
Yeah, it was a good question.
This question I know that you can answer because I quizzed him on this before.
Okay.
And I taught you this when we were dating.
Alright.
Do you know the different weights of yarn and can you list them in order?
Kind of.
I know you can.
I know that the isn't the thinnest one lace?
Yes.
And then there's fingering weight?
Yes.
And then there's sport?
Yes.
And then there's worsted?
There's one in between. Starts with a D.
TK?
Yes.
And then worsted?
Yes.
And then chunky?
There's one in between.
Big.
Starts with an A.
A chunky yarn. Abernathy. I don't know.
It's Aaron.
Oh. I don't think I ever knew that.
Oh.
I don't know, maybe I did. But then there's chunky. I know that chunky is the biggest because
yes.
it's kind of apparent.
Yes. Well, good job. You did most of those. You did all of them in order.
Yeah.
And you remember DK.
I did.
Yeah.
I just needed a hint that was 50% of the name.
I mean, technically it's double knit.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Next question is, do you know how to knit?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
I did it
do.
one time.
Yes, you do. You knit a scarf.
I did.
If you are new to the podcast, you were on the podcast back.
Yeah, like a year and a half ago?
Yeah, in December, before we got married. And you had just finished your first scarf.
Yes.
And it was very funny, and your beard was much longer.
It was a lot longer.
So if you want to go back and watch that, it's in the list of videos. So the next question is, what is the coolest... Okay, so this is a funnily worded question. What is the coolest thing that you've learned from my knitting addiction?
The coolest thing.
Or what is most fascinating about it? Or what is something that you didn't know about the knitting community that you now know?
I didn't know that llamas are grumpy and alpacas are happy. But I know that now.
That's true. It's a good thing. You don't have to come up with it. That's.
I feel like I have a better answer. I learned that yarn crawls are a thing.
Yeah, that's good.
That seems cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. So the next question is, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the least and 5 being the most,
okay.
Where would you rank?
Math.
Where would you rank my crafting skill? There's only one right answer for this.
I would think your skill, I would give you a 5 on skill, not because you can do everything, but because I haven't seen you try to learn to do something that you haven't been able to figure out.
Wow.
You've been able to, if there's something in a pattern that you don't know how to do, you've been able to teach yourself how to do it. So I think that would be a 5 in skill.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
You're welcome. I'm just saying that because there's a camera here.
The next question is, if you had to buy yarn for me, what would you do? Would you contact someone? Would you know what to do?
I would sort of know what to do. It depends on what you were going to use the yarn for. Because if you were going to use it for like a sweater, I would probably get it from Knit Picks, because I know that they have a lot of like solid color stuff, and it's the heavy worky yarn.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were making like a fancy hat or something, I could go to websites. I know there's the Jimmy Bean's Wool website, and I could also just Google hedgehog fibers, because I know that that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could go to the Modern Skein name drop.
I was just about to
hashtag
say.
ad.
Hashtag ad. Hashtag not
Or I
spawn.
could go to the website for it. Hashtag ad.
Hashtag shameless plug. That would be good.
But yeah, I know how to buy yarn.
If you were...
I would just go to Michael's and I would get Michael's yarn or Hobby Lobby yarn.
Red Heart brand.
Yeah.
If you were...
If it has a pattern on the label, then it's good. And you use that pattern.
And only that pattern.
Oh, yeah. You can only knit what's on the picture.
I see.
Yeah.
If you were to contact anybody to help me with...
Stephen West. Send him a DM.
There are good options for this. There's only probably two.
Your mom, I don't know.
Yeah, my mom.
Yeah, probably call your mom.
You could probably also talk to Sharon about what
Yeah.
I want. Okay. So, next
Look out,
question.
Stephen West. Be sliding into your DMs later with some knitting questions.
Next question is, what is your favorite indie dyed yarn or yarn company?
I don't know.
What ones? Okay, name ones that you know of.
Hedgehog Fibers.
Okay.
Madeline Tosh.
Okay. There's another one that starts with an M.
Malabrigo.
There's another one that is really nice that I've started using that it starts with a Q, called Ching Fibers.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't know how it was spelled.
That's okay.
Which you can find at the Modern Skein. Hashtag ad.
Hashtag not spawn.
Hashtag not spawn.
Those are good answers.
Yeah, I don't know what my favorite is though, because
That's okay.
I don't knit with any of them, so I don't feel like I can objectively evaluate them.
That's fine. Do you know how long I've been podcasting?
Oh, almost. Is it almost 3 years?
I think it's been 3 years this past August.
Yeah, I think so, because you started it
before we were
like
married.
at the beginning of our senior year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that would be about 3 years.
That is very crazy.
Wow.
I know. Do you like being on the podcast / do you watch my podcast?
Wow.
Do you enjoy this?
I enjoyed being on your podcast.
You believe this is the second time?
Yeah, this is the second time. I mean, I think a once-a-year appearance is good. Maybe a little bit more. But
It just
I don't
so
think I have
happened
enough knowledge to be a regular.
If you started knitting,
That's true.
yeah, then we could have a husband-wife podcast,
That's
which
true.
there's several of them out there.
Mm.
It just so happened that this worked out because today is Labor Day, and so
Right.
you were home, and we took the day to do fun things together, like record the podcast.
Yes.
Do you watch my podcast?
Not all the time.
That's fine. When do you watch it? I remember that you said that you watched it when I was gone.
Yeah, I like watching it if you're out of town.
Which I think is very sweet.
But it's like if my options are watching you talk or actually talking to you when you're next to me, I'll probably pick the latter.
I'm going to pick the podcast.
Yeah. Be quiet, I'm trying to listen to you talk about yarn. Stop talking about yarn so I can listen to you talk about yarn in the past.
The next question is, what are some of the other podcasts that I enjoy, or can you name any of them?
I don't think I can name any of them.
Can you name any of the people that I've talked about? That's okay.
I know that Sharon has a podcast, hashtag ad, but no, I don't remember the names.
That's fine.
Unfortunately. I'm sorry, I have no good answers for that one. I'll take a mulligan on that.
That's okay. This is another funny question. If I died tomorrow, what would you do with all my stash and projects?
I don't know.
Would you, like, knit stuff with them, or would you give them away, or would you give them to my mom to finish, or...
Probably give them to your mom, because I wouldn't know what I was doing.
Okay, cool story.
Yeah. I don't know. I might use some of the yarn and make a cool memorial craft or something.
That's nice.
That's a depressing question.
It was supposed to be more funny.
Oh.
Like, would you sell it? You could sell it and make money.
I don't think I would sell it.
It's a deep question.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on then.
Yeah, sorry that didn't go the direction you thought it would.
That's okay. If I knit you a sweater, would you wear it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's pretty easy.
Even though this is Texas and you wouldn't get to wear it that
Well, I'd wear it for 2 weeks. You know, the 2 weeks that it's below 90 degrees, but...
Mm-hmm. That's true. Okay, so next question is, how do you explain me being a knitter / my job to other people or non-knitters?
Most people are familiar with knitting as like a thing that exists.
But if you were to say, like, my wife works at a yarn store.
Right, yeah, I just explained to them that you have been knitting for a really long time and really enjoy it, and you're very good at it, which is why you teach other people how to do it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's very kind of me. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. It's a pretty easy explanation.
Have people mentioned my knitting to you when I am not there?
Yes.
Can you give an example of that? 'Cause I'm curious.
if any of my friends follow you on Instagram and saw that you made some cool thing, they might say something about it, or people are always talking about the cactuses that you knitted for my desk.
Yeah. That's true. Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Do I embarrass you when I knit in public around family or friends?
No.
Okay. Well, that's good, because I was going to do it anyway.
I mean, if you were like, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's a situation in which it might, but that would be because it was rude to do it.
I would hopefully be aware and not knit. Do you mind going to yarn stores with me / have you been before? Because I was thinking about this, and I don't think that we've actually been to a yarn store together.
I don't think so.
Which is insane.
I mean, I know I came when you were working at Yarntopia one time. I came and visited.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But I don't think we've like.
For me to go in and shop.
Right. I don't think that's happened.
That was just...
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that.
That's good.
I feel like we just haven't really had the occasion.
Yes. Would you be okay going to a yarn festival with me?
Yes.
Cool. Would you need to have like something else to do, or would you be okay wandering
No, not
around
necessarily. I would be okay wandering around. I just might lose steam quicker than you would.
I see. We can...
But I would find it interesting.
Well, that's good. There's usually a lot of like fun things and demonstrations happening and stuff like that. So that's
I'll just
cool.
go hang out with the sheep.
Yeah, exactly. There are several of them that have a lot of sheep. But it would be really fun to go to.
I know.
This is an interesting question and potentially a deep question.
Uh-oh.
That
last one didn't go so great, so.
Going to a yarn festival?
No, the last deep question.
This is a more uplifting one. How does knitting and the fiber crafts help me as a person?
That is an interesting question. I mean, I think you're very good at it, and I think whenever anybody's very good at something, it helps them be more confident, and it's something that you enjoy. So if you are like sad about something, knitting is a good stress relief. And like, I know you also enjoy doing that on things like road trips and flights, and I think it's a pretty positive community. Yeah. For the most part, and so that's it's cool to see how encouraging everybody is.
Nice. That was a good answer.
Thank you.
I hadn't thought about the confidence one, but that's pretty good. Here's a funny question that you can have freedom with.
Okay. Great.
What are some other uses of knitting needles? If you
Personal defense weapon.
would you use it for like a barbecue, like a
Yeah, I
skewer?
mean, you could, well, if it was a metal one, you could probably use it as a skewer, and then you could probably clean it off and use it again for knitting.
Could you use it for like coffee or something like that?
Yeah, you could use it to stir stuff. You could probably, if you had the really big ones, you could use it to splint a broken bone. You could use it to stake a tent into the ground.
True.
You could use them to help you climb the side of a glacier
Yes.
and stab into the ice.
Good idea.
Maybe you could tape them to, well, you can't anymore, but maybe you could use the metal ones as TV antennas.
Oh, that's a good idea. You could use them as a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
It might be kind of dangerous.
I think there's a lot of uses.
Very smart. Those are good answers.
Thank you.
Good job. Here's a fun question.
Okay.
Can you explain the differences between knitting, crocheting, spinning, and weaving?
Yeah, they're all really different.
Okay, well, explain that.
Knitting you have two needles, crocheting you have a hook, spinning you have a wheel, and weaving you have a loom.
Very nice.
Yeah. I mean, I know that knitting and crocheting is both essentially like looping yarn together to form a fabric, right? Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And spinning is turning fiber into yarn, and weaving is using like a loom to weave. Do you use fiber or yarn or both?
Yarn.
Yeah.
You can use both.
But you make a fabric that way.
Yeah. Way to go.
Thank you. 3 of them are used to make fabric. 1 of them is not.
Way to go.
Yeah.
See, I think you know a lot more than you think you know about that kind of stuff. Next question is, what do you think about the amount of yarn that I have? Is it not enough, or is it too much, or is it just right?
I think it's a fair amount. And I think you are pretty good at using it at keeping the level the same, like using it and replenishing it in equal amounts.
I've gotten much better at that.
Yeah, rather than just like
In.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've done a really good job of, especially with like random crafts like the wall hanging and Christmas gifts, of using stash yarn to deplete some of that supply than just bringing in new yarn.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate that too.
We all appreciate it. When we moved in together after we got married, were you? I mean, you had seen my stash before, but you hadn't seen all of it.
Right. I think I was like a little bit surprised by how much you had, or like I hadn't realized how much it was when it's all grouped together. Because if it's in shelves, it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's a lot of yarn. But then when you pile it up on the floor and it's actually like really big, or when you put it in a big laundry basket or something.
Yeah, or trash bags.
Or trash bags.
5 trash
Several
bags.
trash bags. But it's great packing material for breakables.
That's true. It's very true. Like if you're packing, like pictures or perfume bottles or plates. Really, you could do kind of whatever. Okay, we already answered that question. If I could knit you anything in the world, what would it be? That is knittable.
An airplane. Oh. You added that qualifier at the end.
Well, I think it would be kind of silly to say anything because I can knit you a little baby airplane.
That's true. I don't know. That's a really good question.
Would you want like a funny hat or a sweater or socks
I
or
think a sweater would be nice.
a cowl.
Loungy pants.
You Stephen West it
Yeah.
with the slants.
Swants.
Do you wear the things I knit you?
Yes.
Yes, he does. I've knit you 2 things to wear. Oh no, I've knit you three things.
Two hats and a pair of mitten glovies.
That's true, and I know that you've worn all of
Yes.
them. So, here's a question. I don't know if you'll know what these things are,
Okay.
and if you don't, I will explain to you. And I realize that we haven't mixed in the terms, so I'm sorry.
Oh,
about
that's okay. We can do a lightning round.
Yes, exactly. Am I a product or a process knitter? Do you know what that means?
No.
Okay. Well, if I'm a product knitter, that means that all I want is the product at the end. That's all that really matters. I don't really care about the knitting process or anything like that. I just want the sweater. If I'm a process knitter, I really enjoy the process of knitting it and going through the steps of, and gonna enjoy the end product, but that's not the main enjoyment.
I think, especially when you're knitting something purely for yourself, that is something that you were like, I want to knit this, I'm going to get this pattern and this yarn for it. You are a process knitter. But I think sometimes if you're knitting something quick for another person, or like a Christmas gift or something like that, you may be more of a project knitter because you want to get that thing done and move on to the next one.
That makes sense.
But I think by and large you are a process knitter.
Yes, I would agree. Sometimes it depends. I think the way you describe that makes perfect sense. Okay, so you ready for your terms?
Sure.
What does FO mean?
Found finished object.
Yes. What does UFO mean?
Unidentified flying object.
Very close.
Unfinished object.
Yes. What does WIP mean?
Work in progress.
Yes. What does...
That's also a universal term though.
Whoa.
But yeah. That one is not necessarily a test of my knitting knowledge, that's just a test of my acronym knowledge.
You could just accept it that you know what the knitting term is.
Okay.
What does YO mean? I showed this to you recently, but you have not done it.
Yarn over.
Yes. Do you know what frogging means?
Isn't that when you pull it apart?
You take out the needles and you pull it out.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Here are some tricky ones.
Oh. Okay.
Do you know what BFL stands for?
Best friend's liver. Like if you need if your liver's failing and your friend is like, I'll give you 75% of mine.
And they're a knitter friend?
Yeah. Then it's your best friend's liver.
I see.
Yeah.
No, that's not correct. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to give it another shot? The B is blue. It's a breed of sheep.
Oh, that doesn't... Blue fleece something.
Very close.
Bluefoot lemming. I don't know.
Blue-faced luster.
Okay, yeah, I was never going to get that.
That's okay. Well, I didn't think you would. Maybe you would. I don't know. But it's a common fiber.
Oh.
Here's another tricky one.
Okay.
Which is a yarn base that everybody likes. They stand for different fibers. So if you use your knitting knowledge of what kind of fibers are
well, I know there's
yarn.
merino.
Okay.
C would be cat hair.
Close.
Cashmere?
Yeah.
Ooh, it was close.
Yeah.
And then N?
Yeah.
Nail clippings.
No. I know you can get this.
I don't think I know the N.
Do you want to give it one more shot? I believe in you.
Merino, cashmere, nylon?
Yeah!
Oh, wow.
Way to go. Good job guessing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm proud of myself, too.
Yeah, you should be. Okay, so the next 3 terms are events.
Okay.
And one of them is also an event and a knitting term.
Oh.
Okay, so the first event is EYF. And you've heard me talk about this quite a lot.
European Yarn Festival?
Very close.
Eastern Yarn Festival.
No.
Early Yarn Festival.
No, stay in the European area.
Euro Yarn Festival.
No.
Europe Yarn
It's
Festival.
a big city that starts with E.
Edinburgh
Yarn Festival. Yes.
And that's in Scotland.
Yeah. Good job. Okay. Next one is VKL. The big one is in New York.
I know what the big one in New York is called, but I don't know what VKL stands for.
Well, there's several in New York.
Oh.
The last.
Something, knitting, something.
Yes, you got the knitting right.
Live?
That's, yeah.
Vogue Knitting Live.
Yes!
Aha.
Yes, good job. Okay, so this last one is called SSK. Do you want to guess the event?
Super Secret Knitting.
So close! Super...
Super Special Knitting.
No.
Super Snooty Knitting. Super Smelly Knitting. Super Duper Knitting.
It's the season that it happens.
Super Summer Knitting.
Super summer.
Spring. Super Summer of Knitting.
Super summer knit together.
That's SSKT though. You just said SSK. You withheld information.
Well, it's called SSK.
Oh, well they should fix that.
It's more, so it's, I guess it's not really an event, but it's a retreat that the Knit Girls podcasting people, they put together, and they've been putting together for like the past 5 years.
That's cool. Good for them.
Yeah. I remember my mom and I were
Serious
watching
event planning.
when they first started doing it, and it was a really big deal.
Oh.
And I hope that one day my mom and I can go. But that is also a knitting term, SSK. Do you know what that means? And you know what that is?
Super Secret Knitting.
No. It's a stitch.
Oh, no. It's the something knit. Ooh, that works.
Something knit?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well it's a slip knit.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what that is?
Nope.
It's a decrease.
Oh. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So that is all the questions. But I'll end with the question because we've been talking about my hobby. What are some of your hobbies? You can share with the world, people who are interested.
I play more video games than I'm proud of, but that's usually because I play them with my little brother.
Both your little brothers.
Yeah. I try to work out regularly, but sometimes I'm lazy.
You like coffee?
I like coffee. I like making coffee and learning about different ways to make coffee.
You like...
I like the outdoors and camping and canoeing and things like that. I just don't have the opportunity to do it super often.
You like aliens?
Yeah, I like aliens.
You find them interesting?
Yeah, I like the X-Files and stuff like that. I like reading. And...
I feel like we've been reading more since we've gotten married.
Yeah, I know I have. I didn't read hardly at all in college, including my textbooks. Don't tell my parents. I read the important ones. I have a degree. It worked out. It's okay.
Your mom might watch this.
That she knows. She knows.
Was there anything else you feel like is important of your knitting knowledge to share with everybody?
I think that was pretty much all of it in those questions.
I'm trying to think of any. Oh, I know. Here's another question very quickly.
What?
Who are some of my favorite knitting designers that are out there?
There's Stephen West. There's... Oh, you said her name just the other day, and now I can't remember it. But you... she made the Find Your Fade thing, and I don't remember her name.
Her name starts with an A. And... Andrea Mowry.
Andrea Mowry.
There's another one who I don't think I've discussed, but her name is Caitlin Hunter.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you have discussed her.
There's another one. Her name is Hoagie Locatelli.
Ooh, I probably wouldn't have remembered that one.
She's from Argentina.
Oh.
She's pretty cool. And then there's another lady from Germany, and her name is Isabel Kramer. And I've tested it for her several times.
Oh, very cool.
It's cool. I think that is everything.
Okay.
If you don't feel like you need to share anything else with the world.
I don't think I have anything else.
Would you like me to leave your Instagram handle?
Sure. I mean, it's private.
Oh.
So maybe not.
Who knows? I mean, people can request.
Yeah.
To follow
I don't know.
you.
I think I want to remain anonymous.
Okay. You do have a Twitter.
I do.
I can leave all your social media information.
You could do that.
If you'd like to go
In
follow.
the down there.
bar.
See, I can do this now. I'm on YouTube. It's down there.
Everything will be listed down below.
Was it Wheezy Waiter that coined it the doobly-doo? Yeah, it's in the doobly-doo.
In the doobly-doo. There are a couple of podcasters.
Hey, Wheezy Waiter, don't flag this.
Yeah, because he's definitely watching
Right.
this. There are several knitting podcasters who say down.
Don't demonetize us.
Yeah, because we're definitely monetized.
We're super monetized.
I think that is everything.
Okay.
So
Well, thank you for letting me be on the podcast.
You're welcome.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you for being on the podcast as well. I appreciate it. With answering all the questions, you did a good job.
Thank you.
You were very knowledgeable.
Do you want my chair or?
Oh, I'm not done yet.
Why no?
I'm still closing it out.
Oh. Well, but you have more to say, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna.
Do you want to switch to my chair? Or
No,
you,
I'm gonna
okay.
go in there.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm gonna have my usual background.
I'm gonna fade out.
No, don't fade out.
This is my
yet.
fade out.
I don't know what else to say.
I don't either.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I will continue my podcast.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you for letting me be on your podcast.
you. You're welcome. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
So, that was very fun. I had seen the Fiber Friends tag done by the Suburban Stitcher and some other people like the Yarn Hoarder, and I just thought it would be super fun because it is Labor Day, and so Sam was home, and it was really fun to be able to do that because the last time, like we said in the tag, the last time he was on the podcast, it was before we were married, and that was his first and last time to do it. So now we have changed that. Now he's been on it, and that's super exciting. So that was a lot of fun for us to film. He is also still home, and he is now in the background talking on the phone. So if you can hear him, hopefully he won't be too loud. But I apologize if you can hear him in the background. But anyway, so I just wanted to show you guys some extra knitting and just not leave you with the tag, though that is fun. I have a lot of really fun stuff to share, and I had such a wonderful surprise this past weekend, or past week on Friday. It was so wonderful, and it was just so incredible, and I want to share that with you guys, so that's very exciting. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to say because it's an unusual podcast and it's not normal recording. So thinking. So, knitting-wise, I've been very productive knitting-wise, and it's with just, I've been very good knitting-wise. How many times can we say knitting-wise? Must bend down just a second. So, this is my test knit. Surprise, surprise. I've made so much progress on this thing, and like surprising amount of progress. What am I trying to say? I am almost done with the first sleeve, you guys. I finished the back or the front or whatever piece I was doing. I blocked them all. I seamed it all. Picked up the sleeve. Sleeve is basically done. I have like ½ inch left. So as you can see, I've run out of yarn, so I have to join a new ball of yarn. But you guys, like, what the poop? That's pretty incredible. So I still have to do the other sleeve, obviously. I have to weave in the bazillion ends that I have. I also have to pick up and do the collar, which currently I am a little worried about. I know it'll be fine after I pick up the collar, but just currently right now, the neck is just super wide, and normally that's not a problem. Normally I do not have that problem. I have very broad shoulders, and so normally it's an issue of things being too small in my shoulders, and so it's just an odd predicament for me to be in. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and I'm sure, like, I know it's not the pattern because of the size that I'm making. It's a little bit bigger than the size I would normally make, so it makes sense. But it's just a little concerning at this moment. I put it on and the shoulders are falling off, and I'm like, oh, well, I just really want this to fit. But I know that once I pick up the stitches for the neck, once I get that all going, it'll be fine. And the neck is wider anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal. I'm just really psyching myself out at this point. So just because I've done all this work so far, and I'm like, I just really want it to be over with, and I want it to be done. Again, not because the pattern's not fun, because it is. I am knitting this sleeve on. It was just so perfect on these 12-inch chow boos, which were gifted to me this past Friday by a wonderful, wonderful friend and viewer, which I'm going to talk about later in this episode. But they, oh my goodness, they have saved my bacon, my life, my mind, a lot of things. Knitting on this sleeve, because it literally took me in total probably a day to knit the sleeve, maybe half a day when you count the hours, like, specifically. It just makes things go so quickly, and I love the chow boos so much. They're so sharp, and they're just so nice to knit with. I think if I had to pick a metal needle, chow boos are probably my favorite. So that's exciting. I have the first sleeve. Like I said, still need the second sleeve, neckline, weave in all the ends and all that jazz. You may be wondering, because I have not mentioned, like I should have, what is my yarn and who designed the sweater? So my yarn is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in Sport in the current colorway. And the designer, her name is Flossie Knits on Instagram and Ravelry, and then her name is Claire in general. So I will link her Instagram and stuff in the show notes if you want to go check her out. She's got a lot of really cute patterns, and this has been such a fun thing to knit, and I'm really excited to be able to show you guys what it looks like all finished and see if you make one for yourself. So that is super exciting. It's cabled in the front and the back, super blown out. Oh, it just doesn't show up like it's supposed to. That didn't work out right. It's also kind of heavy. Like, I know that this is a wool sweater, and I know that sweaters are sometimes heavy, especially when there's a lot of it, but it's just kind of like, ooh, ooh. So it makes this knitting on the sleeves a little bit challenging, but knitting on them with these little baby circular needles makes it a lot more pleasant. So if you're knitting on sleeves, forget, say goodbye to Sleeve Island. Never be stuck on Sleeve Island ever again, and just knit with size 12-inch knitting circular needles, and you will, all your woes and your worries will be gone. Your life will be changed for the better, and it will be absolutely amazing. So thank you, Susan, for these, because these are truly a lifesaver. They made this sleeve go lickety-split, so thank you so much. So that is my first project, which is very exciting. My second project, I made a lot of progress on. I'm getting close to dividing for the sleeves. This is my So Soft, fuzzy, soft, fuzzy, got a little carried away there. My sorbet cardigan, and it's stuck on my ring. This is what I have so far. I'm literally so close to dividing for the sleeves. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's so soft. I am so loving these colors together. They're just so pretty, and it's just so nice. So yes, I am getting ready to divide for the sleeves. If you don't know what that means, if you're not a knitter, welcome to the podcast. I hope you're enjoying it. But if you don't know what that means is that I started up at the neckline and I've been increasing on either side of the shoulders. And once I get to a certain amount of stitches between the shoulder to create the sleeve, I'm going to divide for that. So I'm going to take these sleeve stitches and put them on a holder and then just work on stitches for the body. I hope that makes sense. It's basically how you make a raglan sweater, any kind of raglan sweater, so probably my preferred way to make a sweater. So it's super easy. It's just very easy back and forth. I'm loving it. And once I divide for the sleeves, the rows will be so much shorter. And yes, so I'm getting close to starting my new color, which will be this, which doesn't show up. It's more of like a more pinky in person. It's showing up kind of more browny, neutrally camel-y on camera. So there's that. I know we're going in opposite order here, but that's okay. And then the last one will be that. So it's very blue on camera. It's not that blue. It's more warm toned, which I really like. Whoa! Because normally my skin undertones, my coloring is more cool toned, and so I'm more drawn to cooler tones and just cooler everything, really. I do enjoy wearing warm things. I do look good in warm things, but my skin tone, my coloring is more predominantly cool toned. So I'm really excited about having something that's a little bit more warm toned compared to things that I have more of. So it's always good to make your wardrobe diverse with colors, be outside your comfort zone, I should say. So that's very exciting. And that's what I've been working on. I've also been working on my Chrysalis shawl by Lavanya. It's just moving forward, not a whole lot to show you. It's kind of in a big mess right now, so that's why I don't have it in here, but hopefully once I get things a little bit more organized, I'll be able to show it to you better, so that's exciting. But I'm making progress. I'm really loving it so far. That melted baby suri, oh my goodness. It's so soft. I don't know how it can be so soft. But yes, so that's very exciting. So here we have for the fun part, the very fun, sweet story. I was working on Friday, and someone who watches the podcast had mentioned that she was going to be coming by the store. Her name is Susan, so hello Susan if you're watching. And she showed up with a bunch of cookies, and she came and brought me this bag, this little adorable goodie bag full of yarn and amazing stuff and stitch markers and bags, and I could not believe it. And tea, so much tea, which if you know me, not to rhyme, but if you know me, that is like the best thing ever. So I was so overwhelmed and just so grateful for that. So I just wanted to say thank you again to Susan for bringing all this stuff to me. I'm going to show you some of these things that she brought because it was just so sweet, and it still just kind of blows my mind that people enjoy my podcast enough to come and bring me such sweet things like all this, and I cannot believe it. So thank you everybody so much for watching the podcast and just sticking with me for 3 years. 3 years this past August. That is just so crazy. And yeah, it means so much to me that you guys have stuck around for so long, and you're always like commenting, you're liking, you're sending me messages, you're supporting me when I get down in my knitting mojo and all that kind of stuff. It really is just such a cool thing to have, and I'm so glad that you guys enjoy the podcast even when I ramble and rant about the weather all the time as I am very ought to do. I do that all the time. I don't know what that phrase is, but I do that all the time. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for just hanging around and watching the podcast and making me feel special, because I feel like a very normal person, and I'm like, why would anybody want to watch my podcast? But you guys do, and I think that's really wonderful, so thank you so much. Anyway, so I'm going to show you some of the things that she gave me, Susan gave me, which is so sweet. First of all, I'm so excited about this. I love a good, like, homespun alpaca farm yarn. This is from the DJ's Classic Alpacas, which I believe she said is her brother-in-law's alpaca farm. And so she gave me 2 skeins of this and then a little extra ball. And it's a DK weight, I believe. Sport weight, excuse me. 2-ply sport weight. There's 400 yards here, and that just that makes me so happy. I don't know what it is about alpaca and just stuff. It's just so special. This makes me so happy. And the fact that it says, "We hope you enjoyed the combined offerings of Nadia Pebbles and Song," which I think is just so sweet. So you can see who the alpacas that donated to your yarn, and I think that's so much fun, and I have so much of it, and I can make something amazing, and I'm so excited. I see here on the label that it was processed by Shepherd's Mill in Phillipsburg, Kansas, excuse me, so that's cool. I don't know about that, but that's what it says on the label, so I'm so excited about this. Like, I cannot express to you how excited I am about this. She also gave me this super fun Fiber Lady luxury weaving yarn. It's Chickiot yarn. It's called Turquoise Waters, excuse me. It's 70% bamboo, 30% cotton. And there's 1,000 yards of this, so I can do a lot with this little guy. It's pretty amazing. I don't know what exactly I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something fun. She also she attached to this because it matched. I'm gonna reattach it. Oh no, someone is playing a video game. She included that little stitch marker because it matched, what I thought was so sweet. I don't have a whole lot of these little guys, these little claw stitch markers, and so I'm always like wanting to add to my collection. And she was so sweet and gave me this one, and then she also gave me this other one from Crochet 1 Knit 2, which is this little teapot. So I thought that was so sweet. I love tea. This is perfect. It's so wonderful. So that's the yarn that she gave me. She also gave me a Suburban Stitcher bag that she had, which I think is super cool because this is not something that I normally would have picked for myself, but when I saw it, I was like, ooh, I love that. I don't know why I love that, but I love it. So that is really, really exciting. I love the Suburban Stitcher bags, and I'm super excited to have another one. She also made me this really cute like wrist purse thing that you can put on your wrist and if you're going out and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was super sweet, and it has a cat on it, which how can you go wrong if it has a cat on it? And so that was super wonderful. So yay for that. And she also gave me one of the DFW like the bags, which I thought was super cool since I didn't get to go, and I thought that was so sweet. I was very excited about that. And she also included a little pin from, let's see if I can show it to you without the glare. There we go. So that's very exciting. I also have pen on my hand for some reason. Don't know why I have pen on my hand. So yes, that is just some of the things that she included in the bag. There's a bunch of tea that is in my tea stash, and I'm slowly but surely going through it, and I'm enjoying every second of it. So again, thank you so much, Susan. I could not believe this. That was so kind of you and so generous, and I'm super excited to knit with the yarn and use the project bags and stitch markers and drink all of the tea. So thank you, thank you. So that is all I have for this week, I think. In terms of like knitting plans, I did go through last week and make my knitting Christmas list for people, things that need to be crafted, things that need to be bought. So that is super exciting. I'm feeling really confident. The things that I have planned to knit for people are not super complicated and things that are pretty mindless. So I'm hoping that if it is a lot of knitting, that I'll hopefully get a lot of reading done when I do all that. So that would be pretty wonderful. But who knows? Who knows? I haven't started on any of the crafting yet because the chest knit is kind of an issue and that needs to be done, but it's not an issue. It's not a bad issue, but it's just something that it's at the top of the priority list. Christmas knitting is not the top of the priority list right now, but that's okay. It will be, and I'll probably be complaining about it before too long. You'll never know. Knowing me, it always happens that way, but I am I feel more excited about my knitting again just because I can see the finish line with this chest knit and it's just not as overwhelming for some reason. I feel more confident about getting everything done before the due date. And so that just kind of made me a little bit more like, oh yay, I can do this, this is wonderful. And then also the 12-inch circular needles really are amazing, and I highly recommend them if you are a lover of sweater knitting. They are truly amazing, truly amazing. So I think that is all that I have for you guys this week. I hope that you have had a wonderful weekend, and I hope that you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are successful. I have a lot of crafty plans this week because yay, test knitting, and that just happens. And then also a lot of knitting gets done at work, and that's exciting because yay, I work at a yarn store. Yes, and I forgot to mention that at the beginning, I do work at a yarn store. It is called The Modern Skein. It is in Montgomery, Texas. There is a website and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. If you would like to go follow those and get updated on what we have and the classes and stuff, that will be wonderful. So all of that will be linked in the show notes. The Modern Skein also has an online store, so if you would like to go and see what we have to offer, we do ship from the shop, so that is super exciting, and you can go and check it out. We are getting the Melted Baby Surrey in sometime around November or December, I think, so that is super exciting. Just keep your eye out for that, and maybe you could snag a skein. So, like I said at the beginning, if you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. All of those things will be linked down below and also at the end of the podcast. In addition to that, all the links to the things that I will have talked about in this episode will be in the show notes. All the links to Sam's stuff, if you are interested in seeing what he has, it's there. I'll link that in the show notes as well. So, cool beans. I hope you enjoyed the Fiber Friends tag. Thanks again to the Suburban Stitcher for being the inspiration behind that and coming up with fun questions, or finding fun questions and just putting them out there in the open again. Because it was a lot of fun, and I am really glad to have Sam back on the podcast, and hopefully I can have him on more frequently. Why did I say that weird? I don't know. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We had a lot of fun filming it, and yeah. And so with that, I think that is all that I have for you guys. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye. I remember we had this problem last time where it was very awkward getting started.
Well, you can just, are you just going to ask me that question?
No, because I'm going to start off the podcast like I regularly would.
Should I have a funny hat?
Do you want a funny hat?
I don't know.
You can go find a funny hat.
No.
Okay. This is weird doing it with someone else.
Because you're so used to doing it by yourself?
Yes.
That's how we can start the podcast.
No, we're not doing it that way.
Why not?
Because.
I think your viewers appreciate it.
No, I don't even know if that's gonna make it in the in the actual.
Oh, I think it is.
I don't know.
Right.
But that's kind of gross. Okay. Okay.
What if I wait until we're halfway through the questions and then I do that, so we have to start all the way over again? No, we have to do this in one take. We're professional filmmakers.
And what is all this?
Do you need me to leave while you start it?
No.
And then I can make my little entrance?
That would be funny. But
I mean, I could.
no, it's okay.
It's your podcast. You're in charge.
I know. How about you do it?
I don't. What am I supposed to
You're
say?
supposed to say, "Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast." What is your name? Today is Monday, September 3rd.
Do I have to look at the camera?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Unless you want
Do I need to look at the screen?
Unless you want to say no. In which case you could say that. That's up to you.
I'm glad you think it's